Hi everyone, welcome. I'm here with Team 82's Noam Moshe. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, doing good.
So we are in Vegas at Black Hat, and Noam did a great talk yesterday on his research, on Team 82's research into Unitronics, those attacks that were made public last year, and kind of the forensic tools that you guys built to extract information from these devices. It's a departure for Team 82. Usually vulnerability research is kind of your wheelhouse, but a little different this time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, usually we put on our vulnerability research hat. We try and look for different vulnerabilities and different devices.
Yeah.
However, because we saw this attack that affected, like, basically, I don't know, hundreds of organizations, our goal was to basically help them be able to investigate affected devices and maybe be able
Yeah.
to attribute and understand more about this attack.
Yeah. So we should mention that these devices are integrated HMI PLCs. There were attacks against water treatment facilities that were disclosed last year. There were some defacements on these devices, but the attackers are basically kind of showing their access. And tell me about their motivations a little
Yes.
bit.
So basically, this attack was of political motivation, meaning their goal was to basically attack Israeli and U.S.-based devices and basically showcase their access to these devices, telling the populace, "Hey, we hacked these devices using critical infrastructure," and that way, their attempt was to spread fear, panic, and basically make people doubt
Yeah.
what is the current state of affair and how attackers could even get to water facilities, which
Right.
is very critical
Right.
infrastructure.
I mean, hacks against water, anything like that makes people very nervous.
And rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this attack, there was no signs that actual water treatment was affected, but instead, the attacker's goal was simply showcase their ability to do so.
Mm-hmm. So when you started looking at these devices that were attacked, you ran into some roadblocks in terms of extracting the data. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so actually, this idea of extracting forensic evidence directly from the PLC is actually not that simple. Because you see, it's an embedded device. It is basically a closed box. It is not a Windows machine. You don't have a remote desktop, no event log, Windows log, event viewer, stuff like that. Instead, it's an embedded device, meaning it's not clear what data is even stored there. So basically, we started our goal, wishful thinking, saying, let's hope that we'll find something, but let's try and analyze the different memory section, region, structures inside this device. Now, because we started with wishful thinking, hoping that we'll find something, we kept trying, failing, until at some point we tried and succeeded. But that is the way of doing research. I mean, usually you just go hit a wall,
Sure.
go back and try running again. I mean, that is the process.
Because I mean, generally, forensics against a PLC attack, you're looking at Windows machines, you're looking at those logs, you're looking at the engineering workstation.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, if we look back at the big attack against ICS, it could be Trident, Stuxnet, stuff like that. One of two things, the logs were taken from one of two things. Either from, just like we said, Windows machine that the attackers used to pivot their way into the actual PLC
Sure.
and critical infrastructure, or of course, if we're talking about strong and well managed networks, we can talk about network logs, where basically they can analyze the malware and stuff like that from a network perspective. However, in this Unitronics case, there was no such devices. I mean,
Right.
the only two moving parts were basically the actual attack device, affected device, the Unitronics device, and of course the attacker machine. So it's not like the affected organizations could have researched this kind of logs, IT logs, what we call.
So then the output was you guys building these two different forensic tools. Take me through each one kind of from a high level, what they do and how they helped you guys through the research.
So basically today we'll be releasing two different tools. The first one is called pcom to TCP. It basically enables research on pcom-enabled devices. What this tool does is basically it encapsulates pcom messages, pcom serial messages in the pcom TCP layer. And that way you can transfer between pcom serial and pcom TCP and vice versa. However, the second tool is more useful in regards to the actual forensic efforts. And this tool is basically a fully fledged pcom client that enables you to connect and communicate with your Unitronics Vision PLC And because we implemented a lot of basically procedures that involve a whole range of different operations, this tool enables you to actually connect to the PLC and extract sensitive and basically forensic evidence and artifacts from it, including the state about this PLC, like its name, version, stuff like that. And of course, actual forensic evidence and artifacts in regards to who connected to this PLC in the past.
That's pretty unique, grabbing this kind of information directly from the PLC, correct?
Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about an embedded device and a fairly old one at that. I mean, the Vision series is an early 2000 device.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were able to extract it is, very lucky, because at the end of the day, we're not sure what will be in there. And we are able to extract it just because the vendor did their due diligence and basically built-in logging mechanism inside the PLC. And however, it's not like this is a common infrastructure or a standard in the industry. I mean, at the end of the day, just like every vendor implements their own proprietary protocol, they also implement their own logging mechanism, if there is even something like that. And this is exactly the problem, because at the end of the day, you cannot always rely on the IT realm to basically do IR and incident response in the case of an actual attack. Sometimes you need to rely only on the OT realm, and because there is no standard or standardized way, you run into problems.
Yeah. And I mean, as more of these devices are connected, and I know you guys found a lot of them exposed directly to the internet, which is a problem in and of itself, but regardless, hopefully this urges vendors to kind of start including this type of tracking, this kind of logging, and it's a huge help if these attacks are going to start to ramp up.
Exactly. I mean, I do hope that just like the industry is moving to a more secure development and secure installation of OT devices, the same way goes for the logging mechanism. We need to have more visibility and more to have the ability to investigate what actually happened to our devices.
Right. So we should say these two tools, you guys have released them to open source. They're freely available on Team 82's GitHub. We wrote an extensive research blog where we link to the GitHub. Just as a final question, what do you hope to get from the community as they kind of use these tools, add to them? Are you hoping for feedback? Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the thing we hope the most is that users actually use these tools with affected devices. I mean, at the end of the day, if your organization was attacked, feel free to use our tool, connect to this brick device, and be able to extract logs from it. However, we are also, when releasing it to open source, we hope that the community will also come in and join and basically help us document the pcom protocol. Because at the end of the day, we put in a lot of effort and time into documenting, researching, reverse engineering different pcom functionality, different pcom opcodes, and we added them to our tool. However, at the end of the day, there are, hundreds and hundreds of different pcom opcodes, and we did not have the manpower and time to do them all. Of course, if someone is researching pcom protocol, feel free to fork our tool to add more documentation and support for different opcodes. We always appreciate the help of the community, and that's the goal with this project.
Yeah, that's a great part of open source, right?
Exactly.
All right, man. Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.